Good greetings, I'm Rusty Dog. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Right. Third time lucky, maybe. Bear with me, please. And there we go. Okay, Boeing, let's do this. Right, has anything changed since the last time? Yes, plenty. So let's go and adjust those first. Alright, so we need to go into here, because the fuel level appears to have changed. 7657. Go 7660 then, just to round that up. Hey Andy, I'm not giving up, man. I've been out for a little drive. That didn't go too well either. But anyway, it's life. Let's just forget it. Right, amount of passengers today, it's probably changed because I've regenerated the flight. So the amount of passengers will definitely have changed, as will the top of climb and descent winds. So passengers, oh yeah, let's change that. So I've rebooted the PC. So far everything seems to be okay. Hello Mark. Hi Mark. Alright, so we got 10 people knocked off there, so that's 149 passengers all in all. So we're going to put 10 people there. And cargo is 37, so the best way to split that up is 36, so 1800 in the front, 1800 back. That's going to adjust all of the performance figures, of course. I've already got the performance and loads put in from the previous flight, but it seems that that's all now different. Fair enough. We'll just get it all changed. It won't take too long. Okay, so payload and fuel is now back to where it should be. So I'm going to run through the index here now. So positioning is fine. It still doesn't recognize gate 9, but you know. So in the performance now, the flight level is now 32,000. Yeah, so it's flight level. First click didn't register, of course. Flight level 320. And I'll bet you that the top of climb winds are different. They have to be. Top of climb for 320 is 251.95. So 251 and I'll go there. Okay, awesome. Zero fuel weight has to be different. The cost index now. Differente or no differente? It has to be, I would say. Airtime 1 hour 29 minutes, that's fine. So, cost index, where are you? You are 16. Wow, why the difference? Okay. Now let's modify that. Yes, the takeoff speeds will be different, that's true. So, the descent winds are now going to be completely different. So I'm just going to take a quick look at those and I haven't got enough room on my piece of paper to fit those in. Let me bring this up on screen so you can see what I'm seeing. Alright, so this is just my sim brief flight plan. There we go. So we put in the top of climb, which is 32,000 feet, so that will be this line. You see that this is the wind direction, this is the speed of the wind, and this will be the temperature, minus 47, and the sim says it's minus 48. You know, don't care. So we're up at 320, so for the descents, there's no point giving the information for 310, it's too close. So we want to put these in. So for 200 we have a 197 and 73. That is very different. I guess I could put these in during flight rather than having to put them in now. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll put those in during the flight. Gain damage. Hey, I just left you a message, man. In Discord, I tried to send your tea today, but post office said no packages going abroad over the counter because of some cyber lockdown threat issue. I don't know what the hell. But apparently, despite it's a cyber thing, you can send it out by going online. Yep, I don't understand it either. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so yeah, I'll have to work out how to do that, because even the post office didn't know. Brilliant, isn't it? Did I do this panel? I did. Right. The flight plan is in. That's done. Same as last time. I cut out that loop thing. Alright, am I happy with the performance? Yeah. Okay, now into the takeoff. Got flaps 5, we know that for sure. The CG, that's going to change. And the new trim is 474, so just a little tickle on the wheel. No. There you go, 474. And now let's input the new V speeds. Cool. So, rather than me having to do it later, I'll put this in now. 8. And I think we can confidently take the plane straight up to 32,000. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now that the autopilot is working, and then we're going to load in the PAX, or not load in, we're going to initialize the PAX program and then see if it still does it. I'm just wondering whether that's the issue. So we know that the heading for this runway, geez, maybe we don't have the same runway assignments. Yes, of course, different runways because the wind might have changed. And they are the same. Cool. Whew. We could have been given a totally different runway. So this is 186. Okay, so all we need, yeah, no, that's it. We've got the 3 figures in. Cool. Okay, let's put the flight directors on and auto throttle. Okay. Autopilot, look. Working. Okay, disconnect. Fine, it's working, even on the ground here, so good. Right, I guess we have start boarding, have people on board on. Put those words in the right order and I'm sure it'll all work. You see, to run this PAX program, there's a connector program that has to be run in the background called FSUIPC, and I'm just wondering whether that is interfering. I don't know, but we'll see. Alright, so let's start the process. Go! So expected departure in 30 minutes. Good luck with that. We're not going to see people. That's GSX going to do that. Right, so here's our aircraft. We were here this morning in Cincinnati at sunrise, and now it's not. I wonder what time it is there. Alexa, what time is it in Cincinnati? She never heard me. Alexa, what time is it in Cincinnati? Okay, so it's 20 past 12 in the afternoon. So, yeah, that's all right then. Okay. So, we need to put in all the arrival information, but we can do that later. I've already checked the flight plan. We're fine. We're good. Just want to step through the pages now, so we've got the the altitude. We are here. So we're gonna achieve top of climb somewhere after Lovey, and we have constraints all the way down to Jazz. I think Jazz is a constraint because I think when the numbers are big like this, they are constraints. See how big the digits are on the numbers? I don't see that to be a constraint though, but it might be. But yeah, where smaller numbers like these are calculated by the FMS. So, I think we're good. Yeah. I'm always, double checking stuff because I'm always thinking that I've missed something out, but I don't think so. Ident is fine, pause, perf, takeoff is fine. Approach, oh, okay, that's changed now, the approach speed, because we've got more passengers in. So we're going to come in flaps 30. All right, cool. So, ILS frequency will be the same, runway elevation will be the same, which I know I've got that incorrectly here, that should be 1000. Decision altitude is 1195, we'll put that in later. Let's start the APU. You replied, I got you. Cheers, man. Okay. So, I've only got one probe heat down for no apparent reason. So, there goes the APU powering up, so we should see that outside. Wait a minute. I wonder if my frame rate is dropping because you can't see it, but PAC-X is putting an overlay on my screen. And I'm just wondering whether it's causing the issues that we're seeing in frame rates. Yeah, it's getting very jittery. I wonder if there's a way to not have the widget on the screen. Display messages inside the simulator. Toggle the hood. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Seems there's a button to do this. Okay. I'm unsure whether the frame rates are down to the airport or whether they're down to PAC-X. But we've just suddenly got a loss of frames. I'm gonna cancel PAC-X. It's nice to have it because the sounds are cool, but It looks to me to be a frame rate killer. Hey, we'll see. And the AI fly completely on its own, including landing. Yes. Indeed. Yeah, I'm going to close PackX now. And the frame rate has shot back up again to 40. Yikes. What a shame, because that's nice to have those, because it does all the announcements, you know, and the safety briefings and all that stuff. But wow, what a frame rate killer. Absolutely. I wonder if it was causing other bugs. Right, anyway, we now need the QNH, which we know we can't get. No meta here for some strange reason, so I'm just going to consult my handheld computer, which happens to also be a phone, and it is 10:15. So that's down here. But we need to change the units. That says 10:13, so we need to make it go to 10:14, and that will correct our altitude or height above the sea level or whatever the hell. So it's now 13 degrees, which is 10 degrees warmer than it was this morning here in Cincinnati. 10 knot wind, visibility 16 kilometers, and a few clouds at 15,000 feet. Cool. All right, then I think we're ready. I think I've adjusted everything else in here. I've adjusted that, the weights are redone, the fuel is redone, the amount of people is done. These have all been recalculated. The V speeds have been done. Yep, I think we're all right. I don't think there's anything else I need to adjust here. Cost index, I did that. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, cool. Let's get the plane ready for taxi then. Autopilot should be working fully now. I want the airports on the display, please. You. And we want to put this back onto map mode and bring it down to 10. Okay, so yeah, all of the information that we need for descending, we'll put that in during flight as we're approaching the cruising altitude, or maybe even on it. We should have plenty of time to do it. Right. Okay, we'll do pushback from this here instead of doing it through GSX. So go to actions. Oh, wait a minute. Switch over to the APU. Turning off ground power. Isolation valve is set to auto. APU is on bleed. And let's enable the rest of the fuel pumps, otherwise we ain't going to be starting those engines up. Taxi lights on. Beacon lights on as we're about to start engines. And your damper is still on. Flaps up. That's it. Any orange lights that we have right now are supposed to be there. We do have a door open, so we'll get rid of that. No, we don't want to refill the oxygen bottles. We go into ground and remove the chocks. It should disconnect the ground power and the stairs and therefore close the door. There we go. So those stairs should be moving away. Yeah, cool. Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. What's the G for then? CBG. Cincinnati, very good. I don't know. Anyway, are we ready? I think so. There's a few other buttons to press, but we'll do those later. That's fine. See, remember we had the flight CNT or something like that, it said, and we had a fail on here. And as you can see now, the flight officer, but that whatever, is now lit up correctly. We've seen the autopilot working. I think we're going to be okay. Because we had a hell of a... This is our second attempt at this. Or my second attempt. Right. Okay, let's call the pushback. We want standard L, whatever the L is. And we want nose to the right, correct? And TPX tug. It's the only one there is. And it's going to want me to put the handbrake on for now, I think. So let's do that. And go.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left.
Yep, that's what we want.
Roger that. Ready for pushback. Tail to the left.
Oh, with... You mean a lot of learning with the sim or with these aircraft? Like with the airliners? Yeah, it's quite a bit to learn. It's like Photoshop. Flying one of these is like learning Photoshop. There's a lot to learn, but once you have the basics and, you know, you give yourself a crash course by just watching tutorials and stuff, you pick it up. At least that's how it was for me. Okay, they're not going to push until I take off the handbrake, so I believe we're okay here. So get the handbrake up. When we start moving, we'll fire the engines up.
Brakes released. Here we go.
Let's go. So auto ignition is off, so we have to do it ourselves, which is just that button. Just the way I like it. And now we'll watch the N2 fire up to 25, I think. I don't know. You've got the Airbus and you've got the Boeing. One of them you leave it to go to 20. One of them you leave it to go to 25. I think it's 20 on the Airbus and 25 on the Boeing. So engine 2 now, N1 should start firing. Now my telephone, is it still called a telephone? My smartphone. The app did say it was 13 degrees in Cincinnati, and it's matching up here. This is the temperature on the skin of the aeroplane, TAT. Okay, it looks like we're getting a good engine start on this one. So the moment this switch flips back to the off position, there it goes, and now we'll start firing up the other one. Okay, we're in place, so we'll put the handbrake on. Oh, we weren't in place. Eek.
Pushback complete. Parking brake, please.
Parking brake is on. Yeah, we got shot up in the air there. Okay, let's inject the fuel into engine 1. Slightly early, but it doesn't matter.
Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left.
And hopefully this master caution light should go out. Done everything right, but you never know. Right, auto brakes on RTO. VNav and LNav I'll enable later. We can now put the packs onto auto. And now the switch is switched off. We can now switch the generator onto the engines. Removing the APU, switch the APU off. Okay. Of course, got an error here. I need to correct that. There we go, 32. I know you guys were just about to remind me that I had the wrong cruising altitude there. So, yeah. You were just going to tell me, weren't you? I know. You were waiting to see if I would spot it. Okay, am I happy? We've got no orange lights up here. That's good. Therefore, this is happy. Alright, so we've got The auto brake is on. Fuel flow I'll reset that when we get to the apron. And first time I've used the word apron, but that's what it is, I think. LNAV, VNAV, we're good. So what else do we need to do? What else do we need to do, guys, before we take off? Yes, you're right. We have to put the flaps in the position that we've agreed on for takeoff. Correct. Okay, that should be flaps 5 now. You'll see the dial. The dial should end up right there. And that'll tell us we're on flaps 5. Now I think I remember my way to the runway. Let me just have a quick refresh on our left turn. So we can take the second turn and then the final right. Okay, that's fine. So flaps have now gone into the flap 5 configuration, already there. Let's just slow it down a little. Got the Wi-Fi aerial, which is this big bumpy thing there. Okay, so we're going to take the second left here. All good, right? Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? If we've put everything in correctly, LNAV and VNAV should operate. It's a good sign. But I would really appreciate having a working autopilot this time around, if it doesn't mind too much. Sometimes when you go full lock on the plane, it turns less. If you just ease off the steering just a little, you get a much better turn. It's kind of weird. Got the Delta Airlines hangar in front of us. Let's apply a tad more throttle. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. Put that in later, I think. The barometer, which is the this is where we put in the decision altitude when we're coming down, so that the aeroplane can have a chance to say minimums. Oh, talking of which, there's some call-outs which the plane isn't going to make, which I want it to. So I did notice that when I was setting up the aircraft before. I think it's not there. No, it's not there. I think it's here. And is it displays? I don't think so. No. Okay. Well, just so that we don't crash, I'll set it up when we're at the apron here. What I liked about the takeoff that we did earlier on this runway was the bumpy runway. The way that the aeroplane was just bumping up and down a little bit. That was cool. Because a lot of the runways, they're very, very flat, but I like the way this was bumping. It was nice. Should we have a look at FS Realistic as well and pop that on? I don't know how much extra ambience it will add, but we'll put it on. Alright, this is what I call the apron. I don't know whether it is, but it's what I refer to it as. Okay, so it looks like the handbrake didn't take. Alright, so the call-outs are, must be on equipment then. Yeah, here we go. So I want the call on all of these. This is just so that the computer's going to say 500, 400, 300. You don't have to have them all. You can, you know, normally 40 is disabled as well, so you'd have the computer going at 100, 100 feet, 50 feet, 30. They miss out 40. Like that. So it won't call it out now. Anyway. Right, let's get the flight plan on. We are good to go. So we have to make this little kind of Scandinavian flick for no apparent reason. Okay, so what are we enabling? We're going to reset the fuel flow. The clock I'll start when we're on the runway. And... no, we're good. Let's go. Maps are ready. I'm double, triple checking everything now. Not that I don't trust it. It's just that I don't really trust it. That's all. Nothing else. Got a little bit of passenger ambience now. I've never known Pack X though to bring the frame rates down like it did. That was crazy. Maybe I need to update the thing. Okay, I'm holding it now on the wheel brakes. Let's start the clock. Do it. Punch.
Knots.
Check.
V1 rotate. Positive rate of climb.
And gear up. Laps 2. And I tell you, we've got I think we have the performance package on this plane. I can really tell. I mean, it gets up into the air so quick. We're already at 3,000 feet. It does not waste its time. Flaps 1. And flaps retracted fully. Okay, I'll fly it up to around 5,000 or 6,000. The scenery is amazing outside, it just looks so real. Okay, autopilot. She has the plane. Okay, auto brakes can go back off. We are 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the flight. And there she goes. Up she goes to 32,000. As soon as we get above 18,000, which is the transition altitude, we'll switch the air pressure to standard, which is what every single plane will have in the sky, and that way there's no altitude variation between yourself and ATC, if that makes any sense. If everyone's on the same pressure setting, then every plane's got the same. Like whenever any plane is flying at 30,000, they're all at 30,000 instead of, you know, a deviation 30,050 or 30,000, 31,000, whatever, 30,100 or something because of different air pressures. No, that's why they have to go standard. And as you're coming down again under the transition altitude, you put it back to the standard pressures. Not the standard pressures, the pressure for that environment, for that place. I know what I mean, I'm just very bad at explaining. Alright, so where is the airport? I have no idea. There it is. We took off from, I think, here, from this runway here, and we went outwards a little bit, and then we looped around. Right, onward to Kansas City. Scattered clouds, they said, didn't they, at 15,000? This looks to be... I had the word in my head and I lost it. Not representative. I don't know. Congruent? Is that the word I was going to come up with? No. I don't know. Right, so VNAV and LNAV are on. So this is largely being ignored, the heading. LNAV is taking care of the heading. And VNAV is taking care of the altitude. Pretty much. So L must be lateral then, right? Lateral and vertical, I guess. I haven't actually looked up what LNAV is, but I'm assuming it's lateral. Okay, let's start now increasing the range to about 40 nautical miles so we can see what's happening. So we're going to Mummy. We're going to see Mummy and then going to Lovey. So yeah, Mummy or Mummy or whatever. It's a little bit, the plane is moving around just a little. Let me see if I can get, I don't know which one it is to get the, there we go, the wing view. Yeah, look at the winds, man, geez. That's flexing the wings a bit more than usual, but didn't we have quite heavy winds though? Like 90 knots or something up at cruising altitude. It's pretty heavy. It is. Where's the other side? There we go. I'm the only passenger on the plane. Oh, and again, it's just reminded me of that Twilight Zone episode about the creature on the wing of the plane. I've got to start binge watching the Twilight episodes again. They're so damn good. Alright, I think we can turn off the taxi runway lights. I always forget to do that. How's cabin pressure? Perfect. That needle should probably increase a little bit as we go up, but it shouldn't, 8,000, it shouldn't go more than that, but I'm guessing it's going to sit around 4,000 or 5,000 feet. That will be what the passengers will be feeling inside the cabin, and then this needle being the difference between our actual, I think this needle is the difference between our actual altitude minus the cabin pressure equals this needle. I believe that's how it works. And if you don't put the packs on, then the cabin doesn't equalize the pressure, and that's why you get cabin pressure failure, and you asphyxiate. Yeah, you asphyxiate all your passengers, which I found out that they don't appreciate that too much. Yeah, they don't like to be starved of oxygen, so probably best not to do that. If you want your trust pilot. Oh, we've gone over the thing, we didn't standardize it. Alright, so we will reach top of climb. Well, it doesn't show us here, but maybe a bit further out. There we go, that dot. We're on track for it. Lovely. So, let's put the descent information in while we can. So if we go to descent and forecast, and then we can start putting in the 20,000 feet altitude, the 150 million, whoops, 150 and 100, which of course is 20,000, 15,000 and 10,000. You'll notice this is referred to as flight level, where these are read out in full. That happens beyond a certain altitude. Yeah. I don't have the QNH for Kansas City yet. We are in a very windy scenario here. I don't have the temperature for that or the QNH, but we'll put that in as we get a bit closer, I think. Alright, Sim, brief talk to me. What is the descent winds, please? So for 200, we want 197.73. 197. No, doesn't register the first click after you've been off monitor. 197.73, and that will go in the 200 slot. For 150,000, the wind is coming from 192 degrees at a speed of 61 knots. And at 10 million thousand, it's 202. But 047, we'll just put the 47 in, don't need the 0. And that's the wind speeds. So now it's calculated the feet per minute based on that, but I haven't I haven't executed it yet, so it should calculate a new one here. Same thing. Okay, so current temperature in Kansas City, let's have a look on my phone. So it's KMCI is the airport, Kansas City International, and right now it is 9 degrees, 170 degree wind at 16 knots with a pressure of 994. So it doesn't matter which units you use here, I don't think, anyway, because they're on completely different scales. Like, we can put this information, we can put the information in now, but it may update and change by the time we get there. But it's, you know, we can update this if we have to. You can request the descent winds, but I've never made it work. I wonder if you put the altitudes in and then do the request. That's interesting. I've never done that before, because how would it know which ones to pick? I'm going to see if this works. I've requested the descent winds. I want to see if it changes them here. It should come up with a load. Or did it just do it? No, it hasn't done it. Oh, here we go. Forecast uplink ready. Let's see. Yeah, you see, data link config invalid. I've never understood why it doesn't work, but it just doesn't. Cool. Alright, we're approaching our cruising altitude now. So we should be getting a little beep, beep sound. There it is, telling us we're nearly there. There's top of climb right there, so we're almost there. That beep come a little bit early, hasn't it? There it is. And that we should hit that at the same time we hit this, more or less. And now the VNAV path and FMC speeds have been enabled. It's all good. Bingo. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And we are now above those clouds. They seem to be quite thick though. If they are at 15,000 feet, at least the bottom of them, they come up all the way up here. Alright, so we are good now until we get there. Yep, 737-800. I like the shape of these engines, the way that they just flatten on the bottom. That's an easy way to tell one of these from an Airbus, for me. Now this is going to be interesting on landing, because when you land, I think this is telling you where the plane's about to be going. It should be. But on landing, there's different modes for this as well. But when you're landing, you get this reticle in the middle that tells you where exactly, it'll show you exactly on the runway where the plane's going to touch down. So it's really handy for landing. It's a good aid for landing, let's put it that way. And there are different modes you can choose for it, which are down here. But like you've got the glide slope, the runway, standby. I don't know which one. Obviously glide slope's useless at the moment. And then we've got this pad for something. This will be our descent angle, supposedly 3 degrees. I don't know what IMCA is. Let me see if I haven't really messed with this too much, and I'm probably going to break it right now. But if I won't be able to see it, will I? No, it goes up the screen. Damn it. I was hoping to see the mode change, but we can do it from here. So if I go to IMC, does that change the display? It has, big time. But I don't know what IMC is. This must be, since Kansas must be over there. Obviously we're not flying over there yet. And there's our wind speed, which is cool. That's great. It matches down here, you see? But this is giving us a heading. This one isn't. So we're heading on 279. The wind is coming in at 250. So it's okay. It's a slight push on the tail, but it's nothing major. What's the next mode? That looks very similar. And that's the one that that's not quite the one we had before, is it? No. Because we had Pry there and IMC. This one. The runway. Oh, yeah. Runway is 10,000 feet, is it? It says L. A? L? M? Limit? I don't know. And then glide slope. Not doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that this is everything to do with the heads-up display, but I have no clue what some of it is doing. Yeah, so I think we'll use this for landing. Just check it out, because this reticle here is going to be a very nice visual aid when I take over. Well, it's getting very cloudy now. We're traveling to Kansas City. Yeah, we're traveling to Kansas City from Cincinnati. It's about 1.5 hour flight. Lots of scratches on these windows. I'd like to create some new cameras for this. It's easy to do. Like if I go to camera 5, that gives me this. I really don't need that. Camera 6 is that one. So 6 and 7 are the two in front of the wing shots. 8 and 9 is at the wing. 0 is this one over the nose. 4 and 5 are these, but I don't know if I need those because I kind of have them on my numpad already. So, yeah, 4 and 5. What we can do is go to number 8, okay, and then move. I don't think it'll allow us to go through the seat, so we're going to have to literally walk to another seat. If I go maybe a couple of seats back and then get in there. So then I would do Control Alt. Is this 4 and 5? It is, right? So Control Alt 4, that's done. And then if we go to the other side, let's go back another one here for this. Maybe another one. Oh, we can go through the wings, through the seats to look at the wings. There we go. And we'll just get it where we want it, and then it's Control Alt and 5. And now if I just do Alt and 4 and Alt and 5, perfect. Nice. We've just done 2 cameras. Is the game free? No, not at all. No, it's not cheap. There's 3 different versions: Standard, Deluxe, and Premium Deluxe. This is the Premium Deluxe version. Yes, Xbox Game Pass does that, doesn't it? Can you use an Xbox Game Pass on a PC? Or is that a stupid question? Right, I guess we can put in the decision altitude. You know, arguably it's a bit early, but it's got to go in at some point. It's not like it's going to confuse the planes. So decision altitude is 1195. This plane's bobbing up and down. It's difficult for me to do this. See, I've just done a reset here. Okay, so 1195, let's get it all the way up. That's what he said. Okay, so it's 1066, not quite there. Right, so the decision altitude is basically 100 feet above the minimums. Sorry. This is the minimums. I'll say it again. The decision altitude is 100 feet above the runway, which is 995 above sea level. Yeah. What on earth was that? That was a noise I wasn't expecting. Did you hear that? Or was it just me? Okay, the other thing we need to put in is the ILS frequency, which is 109.55. We have the new display here, which is really good. So, active is that one, so 1. Nope. Nope. Clear. Okay, I have to figure this out then. So, do I have to switch the mode here to the one I want? 109. So this is, it's, okay, so it's still a standby and active switchover then. I thought you could program the two separate things in. I thought you could just program directly here. Okay, well, let's swap them over. And we'll switch the mode on the bottom one, because the mode only works for the bottom one. We'll switch it to glide slope. I don't know what this number is. 21484. I thought it would. Let me have a look on Navigraph and see if it gives us a number for the glide slope. It'll be new to me. It's something I don't know about. Let's get looking in here. I don't know whether it's going to show us anything, because this is all new to me, this bit. So we're flying into KMCI. I have no idea what that number references, but I have a feeling it's something that has to be different for every airport. So ILS 19L. Now we have the ILS frequency and the Morse code underneath for it. So the glide slope was a 5-digit number, wasn't it? There's the decision altitude we put in, remember? 1195, we just did that. There's the ILS. And the glide slope. Glide slope. There's the localizer, glide slope. But I've never. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what that number is. Radar fix minimums 6,000. That's totally different. Like, I wonder if there's a number we should put in. I mean, it will pick up the glide slope automatically regardless, but I don't know if that's a number that just is the same everywhere, or no idea. There's certainly nothing on the chart. Let's have a look in the airport info. So we've got a takeoff, taxi, gates. I don't think so. I don't see why it would be here at all. This page. Okay. Maybe I'll do a quick googly. I'll quickly googly it. So what's the number? 21484. Right. Not seeing any reference to that number. I don't know. Maybe they just made it all up. Well, visibility's out the window. If it's like this coming into land, we may have to do an auto land, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine, so I think it's just because we're up here. Okay. So, when we get to top of descent, we want the plane to come down, and the last, I think I'm going to bring it down to 27. So we'll tell it to descend to 2007, which is the last constraint. But it won't start descending until the right time anyway. And let's put the landing gear into the off position. Yeah. Now there's the frequency for the ILS, which is crossed out, I guess because it hasn't picked it up, I suppose. And the direction should match that we saw on the chart, which I forget what it was. I don't know what 186H is. Yeah. I want to learn all these things. Now the yoke is always, I always have it down here. It should actually be up here to fly the plane, but I never can have it there because it's always blocking my view. In the real plane, obviously you can just move your head and you can see it, but unless I go up here, I can't see what's going on the FMS, so I have to keep it down. Not a problem on the Airbus, obviously. The Airbus doesn't have a yoke. Kind of like an egg white omelette. GLS is the acronym for ground base. Yeah, ground landing system. Cheers, Mark. Yeah. Ooh. Right, I guess we can be a passenger for a little while. Mommy. Yeah, there's supposed to be cabin ambience on FS Realistic, but it's not very... I don't know, I've increased the volume, I'm not really hearing anything though. At least the winds seem to be a lot calmer up here now. Not much of a view though for the passengers. They're getting gypped. I'm waiting for the model where it comes, where they bring a plane model out where we can just move the blinds up and down on every window. Overkill. %85 thrust. So, K-Deck, where is that? That's an airport. I can tell you that it is Decatur General Airport in Illinois. Decatur in Macon County, or Macon County, M-A-C-O-N, whatever, Macon County, Illinois. It's just a shame we don't get to see it, but it's down there somewhere, that airport. Trust me, it's there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Macon County, because it's, if you take the M away and replace it with a B, you get Bacon. I'm making bacon. Yeah, so we're currently flying over the state of Illinois. I'm going to bring up the little nav map. Got 48 frames per second here, which is nice for my little card, even though I have it restricted to 30-ish. It doesn't really work that way in Flight Sim. You can cap the frames, but you can't. It used to be able to do it that way, where you could just say, this is the frame rate I want it capped at, so like 30 or 40, 45 or whatever. But now you can't. Now what it does is, it does it in percentage, so you can frame cap at 50% of your monitor refresh rate. If I have a 60 hertz monitor, 50% will be 30, and therefore it will cap at 30. If you have 100, it'll cap it at 50, you know, and then you'd have to choose a different percentage. I prefer the frame method, where you can just get to choose the actual frame, the amount of frames you want. I prefer that for sure. But, you know, I guess it kind of comes to the same thing in a way, really. So we are, the plane is pointing to Springfield is the next one we're coming up. So we'll just, as we fly over Springfield, if everybody can just give a wave to Homer and Marge, Bart and Lisa. And then we're going over to Jacksonville, not in Florida. It's a different Jacksonville. And then where else? Quincy Regional Airport, MD. Oh, what's that? Is that a town? Hannibal. When they were building that town, I bet they loved it when a plan came together. Right, so we've got KSPI in front of us. It should be on the thing here. There it is, KSPI. Crispy, which is Abraham Lincoln something. I guess Abraham Lincoln Airport or something, I don't know, in Springfield. And we have planes, many planes departing out of there right now. Yeah, if I change the ILS frequency though, Mark, the glide slope, I believe, stays exactly the same number. Because I've done a few flights with this now, and it's always been 21484. Pretty sure. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could change this frequency. Yeah, the reason I like this new one is because I thought we could just input directly into here, rather than having to input it into the standby and then go on to active. You know, like you do here. This is the old-fashioned way. But yeah, it seems like not. It seems like not. That there's a different one. You've got your VORs here if you want to fly VOR. Obviously, if you wanted to, you'd make that active, and then you would switch over here into VOR mode. Where is it? Someone's stolen the VOR buttons. Or am I thinking Airbus? I don't know. You've got VOR there. Ah, here. Jesus, right in front of me. VOR. Yeah. So you can see IFIS mode and nav frequency disagree. Yeah, they probably do. And then we have... Oh, is this an approach mode? An approach? Well... Okay, I've never used that before. I might flick over to that later on and have a look at it. That's Jacksonville, by the looks of it. Yeah, it would have to be. With that ICAO code, that's Jacksonville. I was expecting to at least see something on the ground from here, but... Man. Of course I could fix this by changing the weather, but I don't want to do that because I prefer real weather, real time. Secondly, it would change the descent forecast. If I change that, the weather, it would knock all the descent forecast out, and it would not be realistic anymore. It would not realistic. It wouldn't be real world anymore. So that's clearly not going to happen. No, I like to fly real world times and weather. So this is why if I'm streaming a flight sim stream in the afternoon for me, then it's probably going to be from the United States or Canada or something, because they're in daytime. And occasionally I will do the night flight. I quite like doing the night flight, taking off at night, and it's not a great visual feast outside the windows, but you know, I like that. I don't mind flying blind, you know, where you just can't see a damn thing. It's kind of cool because you're just completely relying on instruments, and I prefer to do that in, you know, small planes like the Piper Arrow or the Cessna 414, just totally flying blind where it's foggy or something, or visibility is just really bad and you can't see anything in front of out the window. I really like that because it's really cool when the plane, the autopilot, is taking care of everything for you. It's descending. You can't see anything, and the plane is just coming down and down and down, and you see it 3,000 feet and 2,000 feet and 1,000 feet, and you've got nothing. And then suddenly, when you're like 100 foot away from the runway, you just see the lights, and the plane just brings itself in, smooth as you like. I love it. It's brilliant. Like, you see the runway at the last second, especially if like you've got not low visibility, but almost no visibility. It's raining, you know, it's a little bit tense in the cockpit. But you know that just looking at the instruments here, you know that the plane has got it all taken care of. You know the plane's doing everything it should be doing. And it's brilliant. Yeah. Adds a little bit of a challenge to it as well. So I actually don't mind night flying or, you know, stuff like that. It's good. Yeah. Oh, hello, we've got a view of the ground. Everything's... What is this thing in America though? They do it. Like everything's square. Like you've got all squares. Like the streets are all in blocks, where you know it's everything. There's no corners and, well, not corners, but curves and bendy roads like we have in the UK. I think it's to do with the history, right? Because the history here is, you know, that the roads were built, I don't know, by the Romans or whoever it was. And they had to build around things that were there. And so it's been true to that to this day, where in America they could kind of start from a clean sheet of paper and everything was just done in squares and blocks. Yeah. Because here, when we're referring to, you know, oh, I know somebody who lives blah, 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 maybe we'll say maybe, you know, a few streets away, where you guys would say like a few blocks, like they live 2 blocks down, and everything's referred to as a block, and it's very squarey. I guess it must make it easier to navigate though, right? Like in New York, if you're at like 5th Avenue or something like that, or something, then you know where 9th Avenue is. It's 4 blocks away, right? So in that point of view, for navigation, it surely has to make your life easier, I would say. Yeah. I haven't been to America before, so I don't know. I haven't experienced it, but I can see advantages to it. But it's, I don't know. I like curvy roads and bendy bits, and yeah, I don't know. But yeah, everything's super square. Even like, if you look at a map of America where it's just, where all you're seeing is the state lines, like, so you have like North Dakota, South Dakota there, and then you've got like Minnesota, and if you look at all the lines, it's all squares and straight lines, and you know, where if you look at a map of the UK and you look at the counties, it's all squiggly. It's all squiggly round lines the way it's divided up, sort of. It's not always straight, is what I mean. You know. Yeah. So we're a bit more squiggly over here than you guys. But it's fine. But I like the block system. It kind of works. It's neat and it's efficient, I suppose, right? Yeah. We've got roads a lot like this where it's just, yeah, anyway, but you see a lot of the way things are divided up. See, this is more like a UK place, where it's all a bit like, you know, it's not quite as straight. I don't know. But you see, look, the little squares, look, they're just little squares. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, yeah, it's good. So how far before top of descent do we have? Let's have a look. Let's go to 80 nautical miles. There it is. So if this outer circle is now 80, this should be 60, 40, 20. So we're about 68, 67 nautical miles away from top of descent. that's not too far. Once it hits here, underneath here, we can actually switch it down to 40. And these are all the airports. I've got those switched on. I can turn them off. Data, don't know what that is. Point of sale. Ah, you see that symbol, which looks like Darth Vader's TIE Fighter with the wings on the wrong way around, is very similar to... No, not this one. There's another reticle that appears here. Another circle. Which, this is the plane. So the other one, or the plane's direction, is where it's going to be going to. But there's another circle, one that you get here, which is different to this, I think. I think it has a line straight through the middle, as opposed to looking like this, where it looks like it has wings at the bottom. Yeah. Maybe we'll see it as we're on approach. See here, look, glide slope, look, 384. Like, how does that match anything here? I don't know. I don't know. GS384. I have no idea what that is. There's a lot of information on here, and apparently from what I've heard, there's information, there is a couple parts of information you can find on this display that you will not find anywhere else in the plane on any of these systems. And another thing I didn't know was that the heads-up display has its own computer, right? So it's got its own independent computer. So all these figures here, or a lot of these figures, some of them come from the FMS, the details, some of them don't. Some of them are calculated by the glide slope itself and not by the FMS. Yeah. There's a video put out by... Oh, I don't want to get the channel name wrong. Hold on. Let me see if I can find him. Yes, 737NG driver. He's put a video out, a couple of videos out on the heads-up display, and I've kind of been following it. Some of it goes over my head. It's because he kind of says it really quick, and it's kind of, there's a lot of information to take in such a quick space of time, but it's one of those videos you'd have to watch maybe 2 or 3 times to pick up the bits you didn't pick up the first time around. And but yeah, the heads-up display is super useful, particularly on landing, and I think it gets used a lot in like low visibility coming into land. But I think they also recommend that pilots use this, you know, a lot, like frequently. So maybe during the cruise like this, for example, or even during takeoff. I noticed the barrow says 0195. Is that correct? I don't think it is. I think it's 1195. Let me double check here. Okay, so we want to go to the approach. We're 19 left. 1195 decision altitude. Yeah. 200. I guess, you see, this is the airport. Jesus, Rusty. This is the runway height. Okay, 995 feet. And this is our decision altitude. So there is a 200-foot difference. And I guess that's what this must be. Now this is the difference in height or altitude. I don't know which. They're different. Altitude and height are different. But anyway, so this is the difference. I guess it's height in this case. Yeah, H, right? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's what that is. So 1195. So that is wrong. It's a good thing my brain spotted that. So let's increase it to 1195. I mean, it's fine to do it now, as long as we pick it up before we descend. There we go. So it basically means when we're 200 feet above the runway, up to that point we get to decide whether to abort the landing or not. Under 200 feet, you're committed, basically. Yeah. Or if you're a green frog muppet, you will be committed. I know. Oh, you read about the cyber incident? Yeah, Royal Mail, yeah. Yeah, that's when I go to the post office, that's kind of the default Royal Mail. I haven't heard too much about it. I think I may have caught a headline about some cyber thing a while ago, but I don't really remember. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it, to be honest. But the woman at the post office told me that that they couldn't send packages abroad. Well, they can. They just can't do it by me handing them the box. You know, and saying, please send this. But if I do all of the stuff online, where I guess they email you a label that you put it on the package with a barcode, but my printer, I don't have any ink for it. You know, it's been sat here for years without ink, so I can't really afford to go and buy ink for it, so it's just gonna have to, I don't know, I'll have to see if I can figure out a way. Or it's either that, or we just have to wait it out until it's over, and then I can just, I don't know, I'll have a look at the online method. But if they email me a label, I don't know how I'm going to get it from an email to a piece of paper on a box, unless a neighbour of mine has got a printer, can print it out maybe. I don't know. It's a weird thing. If there was a cyber issue though, you'd think there'd be more problem with me doing it online than handing it over as a person over a counter, right? And I guess it's to eliminate them feeding in details onto the PC. I don't know. I can't imagine why, but it could be that if I just give them a box with a barcode, they just have to get their little hand scanner thing and just bleep, and that's it done, as opposed to feeding in. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'll have a read about it because it's interesting. But it just shows how vulnerable we can be. I mean, this is just a post office thing, but you know, a cyber attack in the right place or the wrong place for us, and it could be nasty. Right, so we are 57.5 minutes into the flight, and we're approaching top of descent already. And I can already hear the plane. It's just made an adjustment. I heard the engine go. Yeah, so unless that was some turbulence. So the moment we hit TD, the plane should start descending all by itself, obeying all the constraints on the way down until we get to 27, by which time we should have intercepted the localizer. Now the brake config, Jesus Rusty, talk properly. The flaps config for the 800, does it match the 700? 10 is to 10, 15, no, it's different. Does it match the 900? Almost till it gets to 40. Right, so I'm going to write this down then. We are descending for sure. Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to write these down. So these are the maximum speeds for this. So we got flaps 1, 2 and 5 are 250 knots. Flaps 10 is 210 knots. Flaps 15 is 200 knots. 25 is 190 knots. Flaps 30, which is what we're going to be landing with today, 75 knots. I think we're landing at around 150 knots, something like that. And 40 will be 162 niggets. There we go. Your English. Sorry. Forget it. My mind's wandering onto Monty Python. Forget it. So this is Boeing 737-800 flap speeds. Flaps. There we go. Cool. Now I've got one for the 6, the 8. Sorry, the 6. No, I haven't got one for the 6. I've got one for the 7, 8 and 9. I need one for the 6. Okay. So, 3.5 path so far is good enough. We're slightly under it. And now if we go to, well, I'm guessing this reticle being there is where the airport is. So there's our descent rate, 1500 feet per minute. And now it's just slowing that up just a little bit, just to maintain the path, which it's showing us here. Okay. Oh, inbound course. What is it? 19 left, 191. Yes, need to put that in. And we'll stick it on the other side too. Make sure they match. There we go. Right, so ILS frequency is in and active. Decision altitude is in. Runway height is as close as damn it. And I don't know what the length of the runway is. Oh, it does tell you here, I think. Go on to, not descent. Oh, it's approach. Need to go into approach. So here, here and here. Well, the runway is 9,500 feet. That's plenty. That's plenty. So we'll just do auto brakes set to 1, I think should be plenty. Yeah, I would say so. That's a decent sized runway. So we're landing 146 knots is the VREF speed. That's changed. It was 150 when we took off. Oh, maybe. Is this has it altered because we've been burning off fuel and so the plane is now lighter? And so we, okay, it must be that. There we go. see. Things still to learn. Yeah, don't choose your VREF speed before you take off. Wait till your fuel burns off. Good idea. Right, so we'll be making a left turn now. Here it comes. And we're still on the descent path nicely. Do you know, when you do this, I mean, I'm not an accomplished virtual pilot by any means, but it makes me wonder, it makes you ponder the thought of if you were placed in a situation in real life where you had to land a plane, like a flight you were on board and something happened and you were the only person on board that had knowledge of flying a plane like this, even though you've never done it in real life, you've only done it in a simulator with a study level plane. I always wonder, could I do it? Could I bring it down? And I think yes, because the autopilot will, like, it's, as long as you do your flaps at the right time and stuff like that, and use both the you know, the primary autopilot and the redundancy one here, the plane can land itself, so you don't really have to do anything. Like, they probably wouldn't expect you to take over at maybe 1,000 feet and land the plane yourself. It would be nerve-wracking, but if like you were the only chance between, you know, like it was up to you to get the plane down, there was no other way. It would be nerve-wracking though, wouldn't it? I mean, of course it would. But with autopilot, I think I would know enough to do it, but I don't know. Would I? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get to sit in a proper full-on, you know, those flight simulators, the big proper ones, the big boxes on the hydraulics. I wonder how much it would be to hire one of those out to do a flight. Because that's as real as it gets, without actually sitting inside the real plane. That's as real as you're gonna get. Even though the graphics on this are better than those 100, 200,000 or 500,000 or 2 million, whatever they cost, flight sims. Yeah. So I think when this is like 50, 100, 120 pounds for this, I think it's pretty reasonable for what you get. And like the same in like a Cessna 172, which is a lot more simplified. I would feel probably more nervous in a Cessna than one of these. It's weird, isn't it? Because this has got so much automation, particularly like the Airbus and stuff. You can automate it. It's automated so much. It can bring itself down. But a Cessna, at some point, it's going to be down to you. You don't want to be coming in too fast. You don't want it to be too slow where it stalls. And I don't know if I would be able to, you know, like take flying lessons and maybe, I don't know. I don't like flying. But it must be an incredible feeling to be up on a plane, up in your own plane, you know, your own little private plane. Not the jets, I'm talking the little propeller planes and stuff. To have one of your own. They're not that expensive, actually. You know, they're no more expensive than maybe a car. But yeah, it must be incredible. On a nice day, just to be up in the skies, so free. I don't know. cabin pressure is nice, very nice. Okay, once we get under 18,000, we have to put in the air pressure, which we'll do. And I'm just going to grab an update on that now. So Kansas City air pressure is, oh, it's the same, it's 994, and the temperature is still 9 degrees. So I think that is exactly the same as what we put in here. Was it? It wasn't on the descent, was it? So 9 degrees, 994. Yeah, it's still that right now. And apparently, according to my phone, right, Kansas City right now, the airport has got light rain. Scattered clouds at 1,100 feet. Visibility is fine, 10 miles. But it has light rain. Let's see if it's light rain in the sim. The clouds are giving me this impression. We will see. Light rain. So if we get any drops on the windows here, I'll be impressed. Okay, so they're definitely closing in. So I'm going to bring this down to 40 now. Okay, we're just going a dip under 18,000, which is our transition altitude. So we're going to come off standard mode. Otherwise it's going to tell us down here, hey! And we want to come down to 994 to pick up the correct altitude. There we go. So now, as you can see, we're below the VNAV path because we've had to correct for the air pressure. So the plane will hopefully recorrect itself. I'm just keeping an eye on this as well, just to make sure it doesn't say like drag required if it needs me to slow the plane down. Oh boy, it's all fun and games, eh? Interesting then, light rain. But the visibility remains good. I think when they say 16 kilometers or 10 miles, I think that's pretty much them saying perfect visibility. Because you know when you get in the METAR, it'll usually say 9999. Let's see if it's even here. It may be a little bit too far out. Well, let's see if we've got... These are all regional airports. I don't think we pick up METARs for regional airports. Oh, we've got a municipal airport here. No METAR. But yeah, you'll normally see in the raw METAR data that it's 9999, which is pretty much perfect visibility. 10 miles is more than enough. So we still are below the flight path, so the plane hasn't shallowed its descent. Because maybe if it does, it's going to overshoot, and we don't need that. So I'm hoping it's going to get us back on the flight path at some point. So I'm not going to do anything unless the plane requests it, like adding drag or anything. Well, I'm good. Okay, I just heard the throttles go right down there. Yeah, so we're a bit lower than what we should be. But it's okay. at least it means that, you know, the plane can level itself out later on. And I still believe this is the airport runway, that reticle. Although that's only theoretical. I know, shoot me. So 1 hour 13 minutes. So we'll be on the ground in 15 minutes or so. Will we have light rain though? I am very curious to see that. Oh, here come the clouds. They look dark, don't they, though? I've never used this APP mode before. I'm assuming it's approach, because you've got APP here, which is approach, so it has to mean the same thing. Right, are we going to start seeing water on the windows, streaking across the glass? It's light rain, not heavy, so maybe we'll get a couple if the weather's accurate. Whew. This is the nerve-wracking part for me, landing. It won't take it too long to recover the VNAV path either. I mean, it's still got it there, but we're doing okay. All the systems are reading fine, all the instruments, panels, displays, whatever you want to call them. Instruments, yeah. Okay, that was definitely a little bit of turbulence, so my seatbelt signs are on auto, I believe. Yeah. Well, the seatbelt signs will come on themselves. I'm not sure with the seatbelts. I think it's like they come on at 10,000 feet, or if there's any turbulence before 10,000 feet, they'll come on then. Like a pilot would put them on at that point. Right, so 12,000, and we seem to be leveling out. That's probably because there's a constraint, and there it is. We have to be at 12,000 at rudder, and the plane has done that. So this number is now getting smaller and smaller. And it's going to drop itself back into line. Come on, baby. Match up right here. So as I've said before, this purple diamond is the ideal flight path, or the flight path, and the white line in the middle is where we are. So we're underneath. So this should put us nicely back on track. Perfect. Absolutely. Now we're a bit above. That's fine. Okay, so now the plane's descending to meet the next constraint at 7,000 or above. 6,000, 4,000, 3.6, and then 2.7, which matches here, by which time we should have picked up the localizer. Can't see the ground as of yet. I don't know what visibility is going to be like. No clue. Right, from the runway, we're still a little bit out. So there's 5.3 nautical miles between the runway and Jazz. 2.8 there. So by the time we get to Jazz, we can bring the wheels down and decel is just before booty. Shake your booty. Sorry. Yeah, so from here we'll start configuring, from decel we'll start configuring flaps and whatnot. Oh, I hope I'm doing all this right. Okay, arm. Okay, great. If you once you see arm, it means we're on the next leg. Which is handy. Sorry, I didn't mean that. So there, 191. Still got the line through it though. Oof, it is a little bit turbulent. Not gonna lie. Because why would I? Yeah, it's a little bit bouncy. Okay, we're now under 10,000 feet, which means we're going to get the lights on. And if there is light rain, even though we've got visibility, if there is light rain, I'm going to be putting the landing lights on. Oh, you can't do them all with this bar. There we go. Get them all on. Oh yeah, okay. There is some definitely dark cloud around here, eh? Yikey. Right, weather update. Still light rain? No, it just says scattered. Scattered clouds. It doesn't say light rain anymore. Shh. I was hoping we'd see some. Disappointing. So we've got to make this turn and then we go on to final. Yeah, so cool. Flight path is perfection. It's just down to me now to do the flappage at all the right times. So at this point we can go to flaps 5 if we wanted to. We're certainly underneath the limited speed there, but no, not yet. Not yet. Gonna wait till I get to decel before I do anything. Damn, why did the rain stop? Not fair. It was kind of nice weather up in Cincinnati, wasn't it? I mean, it's... Cincinnati right now is 15 degrees, and here in Kansas, it's 9 degrees. Yeah. Better weather back there, so maybe we should turn around. We maybe just about have the fuel to do it. I put in just under 7.7 tons, and we've got 4 left, so we haven't even used half yet. So we could make it back to Cincinnati if we turn around. We are perfectly descending to perfection here, guys. Absolutely. And I need this because the last couple of flights have just been bugged out for various different reasons. So if this one goes all smooth, it'll restore my faith in the sim. It's clouds though. Ah, there's the rain. Yeah, up here though. It might not be raining at the airport, but it's raining here. There it is, and it's coming in pretty heavy. But yeah, there you go. We had a little bit of rain. So the rain we've just experienced could be that which was over the airport earlier, and it's moved in our direction. What do you guys think? I don't know. Could be. But hey, we got some. So the weather's accurate. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, that's a reflection? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I thought I was seeing the ground underneath there, but no. Alright, we have to pay attention now. We're coming up to the deceleration point. So this is when we start engaging the flaps and whatnot. And when I'm about 5 nautical miles out, so just in between Jazz and the runway, we'll get the wheels down and hopefully we'll get a nice landing. Brakes are armed. Yeah. We've had such a nice descent so far that we've not had any message coming up saying drag required, which is a good thing. It didn't require drag because I didn't bring a dress with me, or makeup for that matter. Look at these. Look at the color of the outside world, man. Nasty. That's not where the runway is, because we've got to make a left. Right, the decel has changed. I didn't know I could do that, but it has. What's our thing? 20. Go down to 10. So that frequency's gone and it's been replaced by that. IDYH or IDYM, something like that. Okay, here's the final turn and it's raining again. I am now dropping to flaps 5. Okay, flaps 5 engaged. And as we turn onto final, we'll get it down into flaps 10, 15, 25 and 30. Yeah, we have rain. We do indeed. Visibility 10 miles. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. Visibility 10 centimeters. That's what we have here. Remember what I said earlier about liking no visibility and rain? Maybe I should have kept my bloody mouth shut. I'm now going to flaps. How far are we from the runway?
2,500.
About 9. Flaps 15. I had that before with the flaps. Have I gone? Did I put the flaps out too soon? It'll go away. I think it's to do with the flaps. I don't think that's a 10-mile visibility though. Well, I'm sorry, but these flaps are going to be like they are. Maybe I need the gear down. So, gear down. We are now 5 nautical miles from the runway and configuring laps 25. Okay, so this is where the wheels are going to touch down, I suppose. There's the runway. I hope I wasn't too late in arming the approach mode. It says reset MCP altitude. Is that because we're going to miss the runway? Yeah, it is. I think I was too late arming approach. I'm going to go off book here. Auto throttle off. Always something that goes wrong, eh?
400. 300. 200. Plus 100. 100. Minimums. 20.
Well, the autopilot clearly wasn't going to do it. I think I left my approach mode for too long. I engaged it too late, and that was a big problem. It was a bit rough though, the landing, to be honest, but at least we got it down. Damn it. When was that armed? I didn't do that. I think the problem was just user error. I didn't arm the approach mode. which means the plane didn't start descending. It stayed at 2700. If I'd armed approach, it would have started ignoring this and intercepted the glide slope. So, yeah, that one's on me. But it looks like I was able to take over in time and still managed to pitch down and land the damn frigging thing. But because I wasn't directly on course for the runway, the heads-up display reticle wasn't quite in place. Where I think it should have been, but anyway. No, we weren't stalling, I don't think. Were we? I didn't hear any stall sounds. The stall's like a loud tick. It's not a beep. Oh, that could be just the side stick shake. I don't know. I think we were good. We had auto throttle on, so the auto throttle wouldn't have allowed the plane to stall. We were good. It's fine. Either way, welcome to Kansas City, guys. We got here. I'm going to keep doing flights until I nail one perfectly with no mistakes. I don't know whether it's because you get distracted by talking or what, I don't know. Ideally I should do a flight, record it instead of streaming it. But for maximum focus I'd like to do it without narration. So it's just like a flight that you just kind of watch, but I don't know how exciting that's going to be. Okay, we'll start getting people out. Ground power available. Just keep the APU running. As you turn the engines off, keep the APU running until the ground power gets there and plugs in, and then you can switch to that. as I told you before, I've got like many apps running in the background, so I'm having to configure some of those right now. All right. Okay, well, there should be some stairs coming. I've requested them. The bus. I didn't request them. So it looks like, look, there's a rainbow. It looks like the weather, the bad weather's just passed and it's gone over that way. I wish there was a nice way to get rid of this box. One option where we could get rid of it. Instead of like an option that says remove ground navigation aids or something, and it gets rid of 5 things, 4 of which you want to keep and 1 that you don't. Okay, we have the stairs at the back, but where's the stairs at the front? I could use GSX to deboard. It might work. I haven't used it at any other point, but GSX should know from SimBrief how many passengers are on. See, I clicked it twice there.
The boarding requested.
Okay. I think now it's going to put its own stairs there. Oh, you're going to stretch that across? Fine. So we don't need the bus. We don't need the back stairs then. But when the jetway is connected, I'm hoping this is going to light up in green. Actually, it'll do it on its own, won't it? Yeah. GSX will do it visually, but we need to, in order to reduce the weight of the plane properly, we need to hit the D-plane here. I think that jetway thinks it's connected.
Passengers deboarding starting.
So we're going to get passengers walking in the air. Awesome. Now the stairs still say arriving. Well, that's not going to happen. Departure hold. But we're not going to officially be able to get rid of passengers. Jesus. A mix. There we go. Yeah, so GSX and the PMDG thing have got mixed up here. I wonder why it would stop us. Like, because these lines here are where we need to stop, really. But our front wheel should have been on one of these lines. I don't know which one is the Boeing line. One of them's for Airbus, one of them's for Boeing, different types of Boeings. They're not labelled though, so I don't know which is which. But I don't think it would have mattered too much. So I need a GSX profile for this airport, or I'll make my own. And then it kind of tells, I can actually edit plot the points of where the passengers move backwards and forwards. You can actually do it yourself with the editor. It's kind of cool. But because there's a jetway there, it's not going to process the back door. So And also we need to get the baggage out, with the target being to have no baggage left. Well, that's way too bright, isn't it? Yeah, so we got it down, but it was not perfect by any means. I think we did a wheel at a time, didn't we? Left wheel first, and then the right wheel, and then the front. Awesome. Still. A down is a down. And at least the autopilot worked for the duration, so that's kind of cool. Oh, doesn't it like the off position while it's down? It's like it doesn't. Okay. I don't think we need to wait. It's happening. Where's the checklist gone? I had this last time when it started bugging out that the checklist disappears. Was that there earlier? Because it's supposed to have a written checklist, then you just run down it like this. But it's blank. I don't know, but the plane didn't bug out this time, so I'm happy with it. And there's no really much point watching people walk the wrong way. Fuel. Yeah, well, that's because I turned the engines off. Don't worry about it. I think that's it then. Just shut the thing down, right? Not really bothered too much about the rest of the passengers. If we switch off ground power, it should switch the emergency lights back on. Wait a second. No. Switch those off. Battery. Cold. And the baggage is still coming off, is it? Yep. Got like PMDG's baggage trucks and GSX's baggage trucks. Looks like GSX has one there. Okay, guys, that's it. Completed. Yes. Did it. Okay, so I'm going to put my end credits up now. They do need updating, so I'll get those done for the next stream. I don't know if there's anything to take off it, but there's certainly things to add to it, which is very nice. So I hope you enjoyed the flight, guys. Even though it was a bumpy one, I'll try and get a smoother one next time. Practice makes perfect. It would have been a lot smoother had I armed the approach, but we will get there. That's twice I've forgotten to arm approach. Actually, once I completely forgot, and the other time I did remember, but it was a little bit too late. thank you all for being here, guys. I appreciate the company. You're welcome, Andy. Anytime, matey. How are you getting on with Dead Space? I see you plowing through that. Yeah, have fun, guys. I appreciate it, your company and everything. So I will catch you on the next one. Until then, this Cincinnati to Kansas is done. I'm going to call that one done. Yes. And I'm starting to like these bigger aeroplanes now. The 8s and the 900s over the 6s and the 7s. It was amazing looking at that 700 on the runway, on the, well, no, not on the runway, here, and seeing just how small it was compared to the 9 and the 8. It's not that big of a difference in the real world, but it just looked small. Anyway, yeah, it was a decent flight. The flight was good. The landing, you know, 6.5 out of 10. Alright, I'm going to get the rest of these passengers off, and then I'm going to change out of my captain's uniform, and going to take one of the hostesses to bed. Bye!